Hi, everyone. This is Sven again. Welcome to our Tech Talks with tech experts. Today, I am talking to Joe Conyers, who had his start at Pace and at Seidenberg. And after that, he went into the music business. He is a co founder of Songtrust, and he is a chief strategy officer for Downtown Music Holdings. So he has a very impressive resume, has a very impressive career, and he's here to talk to you about his beginnings and about the relationship technology has to his work in music. So Joe, take it away.
Thanks, Sven. Yeah, so I've been with Downtown and Songtrust about a little over 9 years now. Um, Technology has always been important in my life. I've always been kind of a computer and tech-oriented person. I'm also a builder, and you can build a lot of things with technology, and that's what I did, particularly in the early years with Songtrust. Built a lot of technology to help songwriters collect their royalties from Spotify and Apple Music and whatever service, YouTube, TikTok, whatever service you're listening to music on. Eventually, not only does the artist get a royalty, like a payment for playing the song, the songwriter does as well. There might be three songwriters on a song, so it was very complicated for a songwriter to collect their money, and we helped them make it very easy for them to collect their money with Songtrust, which is an online-only solution, really kind of disrupting a traditional industry called music publishing, which was like coming out of sheet music. And so obviously the world's changed where everyone listens to songs on their phone, or on their TV, or on their Alexa device, or whatever it is. It's never been more difficult to collect royalties, and that's what Songtrust did. Downtown, it was a traditional music publisher, works with John Lennon, Motley Crue, a lot of really interesting producers that work with rappers like Little Pump, Kanye, and the kind of usual suspects in like frontline hip hop and rap, alongside some greats like Miles Davis in the jazz community, and just all over the map in terms of pop, in terms of with Taylor Swift and Adele songs with them as well. We also own a company called CD Baby, which may sound a little dated because it came from the CD era. It was the first way for artists to sell their CDs online. We bought it a couple years ago. Its history was really fascinating though, because it was the first company to help individual artists get their songs, recordings out on their own, but also over to iTunes before they shut that down. And they were really some of the early people to get those same songs to streaming services like Spotify and all the ones around the world, whether it be Tencent, which is a big Chinese music service, Deezer and out of France, and a bunch across Africa and Latin America as well.
That's incredible. That's a great list of artists. And yeah, from everything that I've read, I think your work is very important for the artist then with royalties and streaming services and how they don't really make as much off of streaming as they maybe would like to, right? Um, I do want to ask you, how did you get into that, coming from Pace and coming from Seidenberg? How did you move into
Yeah.
the music industry?
So at Pace, I really worked. I did a computer science as a degree, and then I did a couple minors in business, and I spent a lot of time doing internships. That was one of the greatest things about Pace is you could always rustle up an internship somehow if you tried a little hard. So I had 6 internships during school. I worked in finance, doing investment banking, kind of doing M&A in hotel space. I worked in real estate, doing marketing. I worked at some tech companies, like a bunch of little startups in healthcare. I worked in a lot of media companies. So I worked also kind of on the side. Towards the end of my PACE tenure, I was consulting and doing freelance projects, employing some of the things that I learned in CS 101, but also some of the business side of things, whether it be like kind of product management skills, strategy and analysis skills. I also worked at Morgan Stanley in a kind of pretty tech heavy business role where I was doing a lot of metrics. So meaning like not maybe not statistics, but business statistics. So like how many people are performing some function and how quickly. And we looked after all the trades at Morgan Stanley, which is a big financial brokerage and financial services company. Big internship provider for people in New York in particular. And we did a lot of kind of what was now called big data, and back then it was just called figuring it out and making presentations for some executive, and so they could help understand how the business is doing based on the data, right? So I learned to be data driven. I learned about marketing, and I learned a lot about, of course, technology through this. And a lot of these companies, I employed technology across whatever I was doing, whether it be doing data analysis with SQL, or using macros to maximize or to make processes more efficient, but also just to make my life easier. Everything we do in business can be done more efficiently generally, and if you can use technology to just make yourself 1% better than the person next to you, you're going to be more successful, right? And so um, I see a lot of folks who don't necessarily think, if, oh, I'm a business person, I don't need technology. Well, that's not true. It hasn't been never been true. And you look at some of the most successful executives in business, they have an interest in technology, and not just a casual one, right? They of course know their industry, but they have to understand how technology might change their industry, how they can employ technology in their business to be more efficient. And while it doesn't also have to be their core focus, it can be a very big competitive advantage for them.
Yeah, completely agreed. And I think this perfectly takes me into my next question, which is how students can apply, if you have any tips for students how to apply technology to their own fields.
Yeah,
And right, not everybody, most people don't even connect technology to the entertainment industry. But I read in an interview, I think, where you said how connected music is to TikTok now,
yeah.
and how,
Yes. I mean, everything we're doing in at least the music, and I'd say, but entertainment broadly has been really disrupted through technology over the last, really since I'd say 97, when Napster really started to affect the music industry. But also you look at what Netflix has done for the movie industry, right? I mean, how are you really going to be going to that many more in-person movies in the next 30 years? I mean, you're seeing the final kind of throes of um, an old way of consuming media, and obviously that's going to continue to change. I mean, we've got new services after TikTok, right? That are coming. We've got more VR and augmented reality services that are going to come in the next couple of years. The way that we consume music is going to change. Whether TikTok has really made short form music to be very a critical part of kind of the consumption sphere and how people discover music now. It's not, you don't hear about it on the radio, you don't hear about it, necessarily from a playlist anymore. You're going to hear about it because your favorite person on TikTok's dancing, or someone has made a joke and there's a great background music to it. In the same way that you might discover music on a Netflix show, but um, it's just the speed of progress is increasing. Um, but I think there's going to be consistent change. That's the only thing that technology will keep doing for us. Is always It's always something new.
yeah. And do you have any tips that students could start applying right now, maybe to even be successful in this CIS 101 class,
Yeah.
something they could take?
I mean, I'm a big voracious reader. I think reading is the most important thing to do. So, and as much as short form content is great in terms of Twitter and TikTok, and other little bite-sized info, I think it's important to also step back from the big pipe of these kind of social media services, and just go back to reading the news. I mean, I have a old school news reading service called INO Reader, that I've picked out a bunch of different news sources so I can look at the news before it's been curated by social media. And I've done this for probably 15, 20 years now almost, where I will just go through every morning. I'll look at my industry's news. I'll look at the technology news. I'll look at for innovation news and finance news, whatever it is, and just understanding where you are in the marketplace, whether you're in whether you're a software engineer, so you can just keep up with the latest trends and tools, or if you're a business person, so you understand the dynamics of your industry. Super critical, and also just helps you connect a lot of the dots. When you're just reading, like I said, 1% better than the next person, you're going to be winning, right? That's all you really have to do. A lot of people made money just by winning 51% of the time. I think that's the nice thing about technology, is it can be a leveling service, right, for you, for leveling the playing field for you, right? You can, um, assuming you have time and you're privileged enough to have the time or can make the time, um, you can really do some amazing things just by paying attention.
Thank you so much. I think this is fantastic for students to hear, for everybody to hear. Um, so yeah, I know you're busy. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah. To students, thanks for listening. We'll be back with some more tech experts. And yeah, take care.
Cool. Thanks, Sven. Have a good one.